Baylor's Director of Athletics, Mac Rhodes, joins us, Sick on 365 Radio and 365 Sports. Was there ever a time at the end of July when things changed in college football and for the Big 12 where you and everyone else involved started to look at the future, that you ever actually realized that one of your soon-to-be members was on your schedule in Brigham Young?
I wish I was that good. Not even close. Yeah, life has changed. So, no, I think right when the whole conference stuff, happened, I think, immediately certainly knew that BYU would be, one of the primary candidates. So, not surprising at all.
What do you think about this game on Saturday, at least atmosphere-wise? They usually bring a lot of fans, Mac. I know that there are different promotions out there for the students to get involved. What do you think it's going to look like on Saturday?
Yeah, well, we're expecting, sold out. And I know that we've got some tickets remaining, but not many. And so let's sell this thing out and make sure that we've got a great crowd, and that BYU knows and understands when they come to Waco and they play the Bears in McLean Stadium. It's a tough game, and it's going to be loud, and we're going to make it as difficult as we possibly can. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere, and as you all know, they come in ranked 19th in the country, and they're a really good football program, and have been over the years. And you think about, I think I saw a stat, the last 18 games or 16-2, something like that. And so they're legit, and we're going to have our hands full.
Well, Mac, when we talked to you a week ago, your football team was coming off of a bad loss up in Stillwater, and obviously Aranda in that post game in Stillwater immediately, went to talking about him being accountable, the staff, the players, looking at what they did wrong and correcting that. And I think it's safe to say that he's a man of his word, because that was a much sharper performance last weekend against West Virginia, and not really much doubt past the first quarter. What were your thoughts on that bounce-back performance from Aranda and company?
Yeah, and I really appreciate that about Coach. He will always look at himself first, and then certainly staff and keep everybody accountable. And I thought absolutely our most complete game in all phases. I thought we were really, really good defensively. Obviously, we gave up that drive, their first drive, gave up that touchdown. But then I thought we really settled in, afterwards. And then I thought offensively, we were really, really good. I was thrilled to see us throw the long ball. I thought that was Gary did a really good job of doing that. He accounts for 5 touchdowns, and so again, I thought just a really, really good overall performance by the entire team.
All right, I thought, quite frankly, I don't know what pregame speech is, but here, Armstrong, do you have this picture, please? This was the difference maker. This is Mac Rhodes, I guess, in one of the offices. Where in the
looks like the
world?
bank, actually.
The bank. Where and who made those pants?
So yeah, that was just for a special occasion. That was a short hour window, right? We have an all staff luncheon every home game, and I was just trying to be, with the spirit, trying to wear the green and gold and fire some people up. And, those pants are actually made by a legitimate company, Loudmouth, and they're golf pants, and I like them, and I may wear them again.
No, you have
Mac,
to. Now
you're 1-0 in the pants,
you're stuck.
You have to.
You have to.
Kind of how it goes. Also, can people? I mean, Can people order the Mac Roads collection? I mean, it might be something you need to start thinking about branding. Just saying.
Name, image, and likeness. not just limited to student athletes.
Wow. Yeah, that's like the Bobby Jones collection now, those pants. The Loudmouth, the name of the company. We showed that picture while we asked you that question. It's just, that was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm digging it, Mac. I like it. I think it's a good look. You should keep it up. But hey, we spent a lot of time last week, Smokey in particular, talking about, some of the fan reactions, the game day atmosphere and things like that. We had Jovan on. She was fantastic, and I thought she handled all the questions really well. And I thought that there was a great atmosphere with the berm this past weekend. Looked fantastic. I could tell the difference, just in kind of the in-game, some of the stuff. What have been kind of the thoughts that you've received or your thoughts on, just changing things up a little bit last weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that, at least from feedback that I received, that, people felt better about it. We still a work in progress with our students, and, there was a decision made to, for less students to run the line. And so we're working through that. Hoping that we've got, max students for this game. Again, as you mentioned, Craig, I thought the berm looked terrific. It's always a little bit harder with an 11 a.m. kick and the tailgate presence. That's been the case, here at Baylor for years. Any 11, or at least let me better state it. At least since I've been here, when you have an 11 a.m. kick, that makes it a little bit more difficult for the tailgating, and and I've seen that at other institutions. But look, it's a work in progress for us. We're going to continue to chip away at it, and we want to have an unbelievable environment, both pregame and certainly during the game. I thought the music, the DJ, all of that. I thought those were all really, really good things.
You mentioned the student.
Smoak, by the way, hats off, and sorry to interrupt you because I did want to be intentional about mentioning this. Hats off to our band. At halftime.
My God, yeah.
If you missed that was phenomenal. The tribute to the men's basketball program and the national championship, and then the Scott Drew picture, the head, whatever you want to call that. I'm still trying to get my hands on that so I can stake it out on his front lawn.
I got to tell you this, that most of the time at halftime, I'm doing something that I'm trying to play catch up on things that I can do because there's 30 minutes or whatever. I even put something out on my Twitter feed. I'm not one that pays too much attention to that. A lot of times it may be the same thing. I'm not saying that's the case, but that was special. The motion of the members of the band from a crossover dribble to a dunk, and it was crazy. Plus, as you mentioned, the picture, and I sent Isaiah, by the way, a nice little note too. I just thought that was truly fantastic to see. How much, when you guys are having any kind of discussion among the Big 12, how much do the incoming 4 teams or programs have? Do they listen, or do they have the ability to maybe have an opinion in the room or on Zoom?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and so as of now, they've not been involved in our meetings. That will change here in the future, but 3 of those institutions, the current American Athletic Conference institutions, they're still working through their exit, and nothing official to this point in time, and so we're waiting to see when that gets across the finish line, and then I would say that they would be invited to meetings, not every meeting, but I think certainly systematically once we know, and the commissioner conference office has certainly kept the 4 athletic directors up to up to speed, and so that's where we are right now with it. I've known Tom, the athletic director at BYU, for many years when I was at Missouri, and the whole racial issue on the Missouri campus and the potential boycott of a football game. That game was versus BYU, and Tom reached out, and he couldn't have been more supportive. Just a wonderful human being. So I look forward to seeing him on Saturday. After
Boise State beat Brigham Young, did you get a text from Jeremiah that said, "Hey, we're pretty good too. We can play football in the Big 12"?
So always be proactive. So I sent him one before he could send me that one, and said, "Congratulations. So happy for you. Not thrilled that you now have BYU really fired up. And by the way, still not ready for the Big 12." So that was the day.
Wow, man, that was kind of a little dagger. I read the article. Pete Thamel did a summary of the college football weekend. We had him on yesterday, and the reason we did, and one, he's a really good writer, but he had some quotes from Dave Aranda, who I asked yesterday about some of these quotes with I get a chance to visit with him every other week. He called himself last year, "I was very much a stepdad. I wanted to be a dad. I was following a strong coach and leader in Matt Rule, who did a great job here. And me coming in, one-on-one conversation with guys in relationships, talking about the Zoom." Has he brought that up to you? I thought that was a tremendous analogy.
Yeah, no, he has. Coach Aranda and I have had many conversations, and certainly we had 3 or 4, meetings, longer discussions, right at the end of the 2020 season, and it's one of the things that we talked about, and we talked about, him feeling like a stepdad, and maybe as we got to that last game of the 2020 season, he finally felt like he was, the dad, and he mentioned it, so I'm certainly not going to be bashful in stating it, but Matt was hard to follow because very outspoken. You always knew where Matt stood, and in terms of the staff and student athletes, and very vocal. And Dave has talked about being more of an introvert, and then you throw in just the obstacles that COVID caused in terms of trying to establish relationships with staff and or student athletes. And so it was just a hard time. And what I'm most proud of, in terms of Dave, is the way that he handled it all. He never panicked. He never, put his head down. He just, continued to plow through and chip away and do the things that he believes in terms of establishing a championship culture. And, and now, again, I think you're beginning to see the results of it, midway through the season. So we still have a lot of football to go. But, I think that, as we think about the remaining 6 games, regular season games, and then, years following, I'm really, proud and happy, where the program is and where it's headed. And look, it's never good enough, right? And we're gonna continue to push and pull and tug and fight, scratch and claw, because it's never good enough. You always got to get better. And I think we're in that process.
There's one other quote I'll bring up, but I know you got to go. "It's easier to hire a coach when you're hiring them for what he does. It's difficult when you're hiring for who he is. That's the major difference." Do you feel like that's why he was able to act so fast, emphatically, with what he did following the end of the season last year?
Yeah, I mean, that really tore him up, and we talked about it, and never hesitated whatsoever, because knew it was the right decision. But he cares about people, and he knows that those types of decisions impact. They're far-reaching, right? They're deep in terms of just not impacting the individual, but the families, all of those things, and so yeah, he knew and acted quickly, because bottom line, that's what was best for the program.
Thank you, Mac. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much. We'll see you Saturday. Should be fun.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Mac
Bye-bye.
Rhodes, Director of Athletics at Baylor University, with us. Sikkim 365 Radio and 365 Sports, trying to give as much coverage as we can this week with Baylor and Brigham Young. Ty Detmer today, Kalani Sitake, BYU coach yesterday, Aranda yesterday, and we'll have RG3 for a little bit tomorrow. Irvin Randall, Baylor fans will remember him, played in the NFL a little bit. I think that's John Randall's brother, who's in the Hall of Fame from Mumford, Texas. And, of course, John Randall played at A&I and was a great player in the NFL. Irvin Randall played the last time that Brigham Young and Baylor played, back in 83 and 84. The first time was a shootout. Steve Young had a huge game. Baylor won that game. Irvin Randall had 8 tackles in that game. He'll join us tomorrow. And then 84, Brigham Young smoked Baylor pretty good in that next game the following year. This is Sikkim 365 Radio.